Jennifer, thanks very much. 8:24 right now. Despite political and economic tensions with our neighbors to the south, many have tried to keep connections with Americans themselves, including students at OCAD University who partnered with those at Michigan State University to draw portraits of one another. Sort of a pen pal art project, which has now become an exhibit called Faces and Traces. Canadian Peyton Cote and American Amanda Roberts collaborated across the border, and both join us now. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi there. So, Amanda, you're south of the border. How did this come about?
So originally this project was taken on by a professor of a class at MSU called Intermediate Drawing. And although I was not originally in the class, this professor reached out to me and was saying, hey, I want to do this project. I just had someone drop my class. I need someone to draw this portrait of this Canadian student. I was like, I would absolutely love to do that. I would love to create this project and collaborate with a Canadian student. And I picked it up immediately and then just started learning more about it.
You are that Canadian student, Peyton. How did you build a connection?
Well, it was a great opportunity. We collaborated through Zoom, through emails, and just got to know each other. And it was a great opportunity to expand our art practice and build relationships.
You had to, as part of this project, I understand, you have to send items that represent you over to the person on the other side of the border to sort of inspire their project. What did you send over?
I sent a series of kind of mixed media items that she could incorporate or just take inspiration from. So I sent a couple of beads that represent the color of my birthstone, these yellow beads that represent the canola of Saskatchewan, where I'm from,
yep.
Some thread that's the same color as my hair, so she could include that. But yeah, mostly things that she could just take inspiration from and use.
And Amanda, what did you send north?
I sent over some oil pastels because I tend to paint with oils in the rest of my work. I sent over some Posca marker pens that were some of my favorite colors and also the color of my hair. I also sent over some collage scraps as well as some miscellaneous object. I think I sent over shoelaces too because I really like expressing myself, especially with different colors of shoelaces. And so I sent over an extra pair too, just so she could, go crazy.
This is a pretty politically tense time between our two countries, one American, one Canadian here. What did it influence your connection at all? And Amanda, I'd start with you.
I think so, yeah. Originally, this project was created before a lot of these tensions came about. And so it was a lot of, it was honestly a privilege to be able to work on this project because I felt like I really appreciated that during this time we were still focusing on connections between each other and seeing each other as artists and people instead of just numbers in a different country that we're fighting with. And so I honestly, although the project was around earlier, I think it came around at a great time for our lives.
Amanda, I've got to commend your diligence to this interview because your cat, as I can see over the Zoom here, it keeps
yes,
pawing you, say, pay attention to me. So thank you very much for staying on target.
I'm so locked in. I'm trying.
I appreciate it. Listen, Amanda, you're about to hit the road. You're going to come across the border for the first time to Toronto to see this exhibit. And it'll also be the first time you get to see Peyton face to face. What's that going to be like for you?
I honestly don't have really any nerves at all. I am all excited. I am going into Toronto with such an open mind and such a willingness to bring in all the experience and take in this new area. Cause even though we're not that much different in regards to how we act and, our traditions and how we treat each other, it is still different. And so I'm excited to just, my job as an artist is to view the world and respond to it. And so I'm excited to view this part of the world that I haven't visited yet.
Peyton, where do you take Amanda here?
Am I going to take her places?
Yeah.
Oh, where would I take her? Probably Kensington Market.
Yep.
Big thrifters. It's a great spot in the city for seeing Toronto life. Another favorite spot is St. Lawrence Market. I would definitely take her there. Yeah.
Yep. And obviously OCAD,
and OCAD
itself.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, look, it's so great to meet both of you. Have a great trip, Amanda. You're heading out today, right?
Yeah, I'm heading out right after this interview.
Okay. Well, safe drive. It'll be a nice
Yeah.
day. It hasn't been a nice night, but it's going to be a nice day today. So that's good for getting here. Thanks so much for
Thank
your
you.
time, both of you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That is Amanda Roberts, who's a third year student at Michigan State University, and Peyton Cote, third year student at OCAD University. Their art will be displayed in a new exhibit called Faces and Traces, a cross-border portrait project. It's going to be shown at the Stacked Market from tonight until April 13th, and it is part of this cross-border project between students, Canadians and Americans, sort of bridging that border at a time. There's a fair bit of tension.